You're listening to The Real Fan Review with Hav, Sanj, Hal, and B.
What's going on, podcasters and YouTubers? This is Hav here, one of your hosts from The Real Fan Review. Today with me, we got our man in the chair, Al.
How's it going, everybody?
Yeah, man, just me and Al today holding down the fort. You know, Brandon's got things going on, and Sanj might be recovering. So, again, happy birthday to the brother.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, man, today we're going to start our show with something a little bit sad there, man. We had the passing of the legendary, great Sean Connery. Passed away yesterday, October 31st. And, you know, we just want to talk about him really quickly because he did do a lot of movies I know ones that I remember off the top of my head was the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. My personal favorite is going to be Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade there. That was spectacular to me. He also did our first original Bond, 007.
Yeah.
You know, and it's sad to see someone like his acting caliber and just, you know, himself to pass away. Al, any specific thoughts on his passing or anything like that?
I mean, it's a shame. He hadn't made a movie in some time. Matter of fact, I think League of Extraordinary Gentlemen was his last movie, and that was back in like 2003.
Yeah,
so
I think
he
2006 was his last one.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's been some time, but I mean, he's one of those actors where no matter how much time has passed, you feel like you just saw a movie with him for some reason. Like, and when I was looking over his list, his body of work, like almost every movie, I was like, wow, I remember that movie. I remember that. But sometimes you don't remember a movie.
Right.
You're like, each one. I mean, going back to 86, I don't know if you were a fan of the movie, but Highlander.
I wasn't, but I've heard a lot of people are.
Kid, it's one of those. I mean, not to get sidetracked, but it's one of those movies where I'm surprised they haven't rebooted it or done something. I mean, they've made a number of sequels, but like reboot it, it's definitely in need of a reboot. But I mean, and that movie goes along with a lot of the movies he made where he played either like that father figure, that mentor figure, and his passing is one of those that you don't realize it was going to hit you the way that it hit you. Because like sometimes you hear these celebrities passing and like, oh, wow, that's a shame. And you just move on. Like when I got the alert on my phone, like, you know, kind of like with some of the ones we've heard in the recent past, like I actually had to sit there and say, oh, shit, he died. Like, wow.
And mind you, we haven't seen him in years, you know? So.
Yeah.
And it's funny that you say, like, we just watched movies or whatever. And, you know, honestly, I think it was about 2 weeks ago when I had scrolled past The Last Crusade and I just started watching it all over again. And I couldn't help but just love his character and the way he portrayed Indiana Jones's father in that movie. And I think that he and Indiana Jones is what made that movie so fantastic, is their relationship and just some of the wording, some of the phrases that they use and talk to each other was just amazing. I think that like one of the things that stood out to me was him saying that the pen is actually, what is it? The pen is stronger than the sword or mightier than the sword there, you know? And then also like the glares that he would give Indiana Jones whenever Indiana Jones would fight somebody, think he did something cool. He'll look over his dad and dad's like, you know? But I just thought like him and that, and then again, like just like you did, I also had like a little list of all the movies that he's been in, and I forgot The Hunt of Red October, you know, I forgot The Untouchables, you know, it's just so many movies that he's been a part of. And another big one, especially for my cousin Ro is a movie fanatic as well, The Rock with Nicolas Cage, which is fantastic. So, you know, just like for me, the Indiana Jones The Last Crusade is like the one that hits me. Highlander is the one for you?
Highlander was one.
What role did he play in Highlander?
He was the movie. I don't know if you say you didn't watch it. It's about a group of immortals that, you know, live for a series of years, and they are drawn to each other in a type of, and then they duel with swords. They fight each other, and the object is they have to cut off the other's head, and it leads to, in the end, what they call the gathering, which takes place here in New York. And I don't know if you've heard that phrase or somebody say there can be only one.
Yeah.
This is the movie that it comes from, because the whole point is for them to kill each other till there's only one, and that
Gotcha.
person wins, and he gains the prize and so forth. So he plays Ramirez. I forgot his first name. Ramirez. He's an Egyptian that, because of how old he's lived, he's gone around the world and so forth, but he takes on the name of Ramirez, and he mentors Connor McLeod, which is the main character.
Right.
And so that's why I say, like, in this movie, he's I don't want to say he's that same person, because, sometimes an actor can come off as if they're just playing the same person
role.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he just is that mentor. Like, he's always seemed like that father figure, mentor character in almost every movie. And that's why I'm glad you reminded me of Untouchables. Same thing. He takes on the role of the mentor to Elliot Ness. Now, it's pure fiction in the way they play out the characters and the story.
Right.
But again, he's that mentor figure teaching Elliot, like, this is the way you're going to get Capone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is how you got to police. So it's like we need more of those movies. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want more of actors like that can bring a genuineness to the role, that, no matter what they're playing, no matter what the subject matter is, you can trust, all right, I'm going to get a good performance here.
Right.
So
I got you, man.
About someone like that.
Yeah, man. I mean, and, I guess the only thing we could say is, from the Real Fan Review, man, we, wish well for the family and in this loss, and we just want to say rest in peace to the legendary Sir Sean Connery, because he was knighted, right?
yeah.
Incredible,
fact,
man.
In one of his last billings that I saw there, they say, how they always say the name that they were using when they filmed it was, and they say as Sir Sean Connery. So
amazing,
but it's touching and deserved. So just like, again, it's a sad story and a sad piece of news to hear.
Yeah, man, absolutely. And, if Sanj was on, I know he would have a Sean Connery imitation for all of us. So maybe next time.
Probably had a couple martinis in his memory.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Shaken, not stirred. And listen, there's no easy way to segue into something else that's a little bit more on the fun side of entertainment. So we're just going to do our best to keep it moving and going into the next few things there. So, today we're going to talk about the movies that are coming out in November. We're also going to talk about Matthew McConaughey. He's saying that he would have played the Hulk. Michael Bay put out a trailer for something called Songbird that was just too soon. And we're going to also talk about today about the Mandalorian episode 1 of season 2. So that's going to be the show for today. And let's get right into it, Al. So for November, man, we don't really got much choices. I don't think we're going to the movies anyway. So I
keep getting my AMC emails all of a sudden again.
Yeah, they want us to reload that subscription plan.
Oh yeah.
We got Freaky, which is the horror movie from Blumhouse featuring Vince Vaughn. So we'll see. Okay. Speaking of characters who seem like they play the same person all the time.
Oh hell yeah, definitely.
We got the Croods: A New Age, which is one of those animated movies that came out a long time ago. The Croods, and then the last thing is something called The Hillbilly Elegy, that's supposed to be coming out on Netflix and supposed to be getting all these like Oscar nominations and stuff like that, if there are Oscars. Okay. But that's pretty much it, man. And it's sad to even say that that's what's for November when we were supposed to get Wonder Woman and Black Widow this month. Yeah. This is ridiculous.
It's a sad state. It's getting desperate. But who's putting some stuff out is Blumhouse. I don't know if you have Prime, but they got a couple of movies out on Prime. I mean, they're not high caliber movies. They might have been always intended to be straight to Prime movies. Mm-hmm. But like one that I think people should check out. Again, understand it is probably like one of these straight to streaming movies, but it was still entertaining, in my opinion, was Black Box. Okay. So it's a Blumhouse movie. It was on Prime. Mm-hmm. But I like the concept. I like the story that they told. And, I mean, it's far-fetched and it's a stretch, but it was a good concept and a good, and I like the way the characters told the story. Everybody was believable. And Felicia Rashad plays one of the lead roles. So it was good to see her.
Oh, everybody's mom, right
yeah,
there.
Man.
That's the mom of moms right there.
Yeah, and it was great to see her in a role again. So it's definitely something that I think people should check out as a surprise that I wasn't even like I had never heard of it, other than strolling through the list.
Yeah, and neither have I, man. So I'll definitely give it a look, man, on the Amazon Prime there. But out of these movies, I might check out that Netflix one because of all the buzz that it's getting as far as probably like acting wise. It didn't look anything like our flavor of action comedy or sci-fi or anything like that. But right now I'll give anything a shot. So, but I do want to see Freaky, man. I mean, I heard great things about it. Got reviewed greatly. IGN gave it like a 8 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10 for being, a good play on the Freaky Friday. That's where the Freaky comes in. Okay, so it's basically a body switch, and it looks interesting from the trailers that I've seen. But again, Vince Vaughn, I would love to see him again because he always makes me laugh when it's in comedy. So I'm looking to see his play on comedy and horror, because you see a lot of these actors they do both. They do comedy and horror because they say there's a lot of similarity in those two. So
it's a thin line that separates them.
Absolutely, that's what they always say. But yeah, man, those are the movies for November. And, if you guys are listening or watching on YouTube, comment below. Let us know if you're watching any of those 3 movies that are coming out for November. And hopefully December is not as pitiful. So we'll see what happens. The next thing I wanted to talk about, Al, is something that I read. And this came straight from comicbooknews.com, or it came from Cinema Blend, actually. So with Cinema Blend, there was a story there that they were interviewing Matthew McConaughey. And he was saying how much he loved the Incredible Hulk as he was growing up, and he always wanted to play that character of the Bruce Banner, and then turning into the Hulk. And he actually, this is funny, he offered himself to Marvel after their issues with the original
Edward Norton.
Hulk, with Edward Norton, right? And he said that Marvel politely said no, thank you.
Good move. Good
right
move.
Now, seeing the Incredible Hulk, or the Hulk that we have now, with oh my God, I can't remember the guy's name.
Mark Ruffalo. Yeah,
Ruffalo, right? Yeah. With Mark Ruffalo, I mean, I can't see Mr. All right.
I was just gonna say. That's what I was gonna say. How you gonna have Hulk coming out talking about all right?
Now, granted, I know Marvel wouldn't write that in there, but I just can't see the guy with the yellow locks and being our Bruce Banner and being I'm always angry. That's my secret.
Now and don't get me wrong, Matthew McConaughey, he's a good actor.
Fantastic.
I've enjoyed and truly appreciated almost every movie I've seen him in, including what was it, 10 Ways or 10 Things to Break Up with a Guy, or some movie like that he made years ago with Kate Hudson. Like, that's what I'm saying. I've almost enjoyed every movie of his. I don't think there's one
his old rom-coms.
yeah. But I couldn't. Yeah, I'm like, that's one of those casting decisions. You're like, I'm glad they did that. Like, again, not to knock him, but not that role. Not
that role. Yeah, I mean, if Matthew McConaughey did take a role in Marvel, I unfortunately don't want to typecast him into the Silver Surfer, but I think maybe him.
Go
for it.
Now I'm drawing a blank now. Cumberbatch's character, Doctor Strange. I kind of maybe could have seen him. He has the swagger and the lack of a better word, cockiness of a Doctor Strange. I could have seen him pulling off like a Doctor Strange.
Right. Yeah, man. And you know who else I think he would be good for? Because they were trying to put it off to like younger characters for the Adam Warlock character that they're supposed to be coming out with. I could see him as an Adam Warlock, maybe even like an older version of Nova. If they go with the younger version of Nova, clearly no. But if they go with the older version of Nova, he could possibly do that character as well. So those are the 3 that I can possibly see, is like Adam Warlock. I could see him playing Nova, and then the other one was oh man, I forgot the first one I said there. Silver Surfer.
Silver Surfer.
So those are the 3 that I could possibly see him being those characters in that movie. But other than that, nah.
They made a good choice.
Yeah, I think so.
And it's just interesting to hear that he was so confident about it that he offered himself, like
Right.
almost not even like,
I'll take it. I'll do it.
yeah, like let me help you out here. Like,
Oh my goodness. Yeah, man. And then the last bit of news this week, man, that we're going to be talking about is there was a trailer released by Michael Bay for his next new movie called Songbird. And Al, watching this trailer, man, it gave me some bad vibes. It gave me the wrong fears there.
Yeah, man.
COVID 23, Al.
Yeah, it kind of like in that quick short preview or trailer that they released, like it showed all the fears of what we, like, at least I thought was possible with our current situation.
Right.
You know, like the person fearing like what's going to happen, everybody being in isolation, everybody, you know, people them coming for anybody who is sick, and
right. The temperature checks.
Yeah, man. Yeah, they should have left this for when it was over.
Too soon.
Then, yeah, man. Because now you got people that are gonna be like, "Is it gonna get that bad?"
Yeah.
Like, have we seen the darkest hour yet? Like,
I mean, it's just crazy, man. Like the whole martial law thing kind of scares me because it gets like, I guess we get kind of really close to it. You know, you feel like if people don't listen or pay attention to the guidelines, then the government almost feels like it's their role to help us not hurt ourselves. But at that same point, restricting freedoms, rights, I just, you know,
yeah,
what's the more greater good or the evil in there? You know what I mean? Like, I just can't. Oh, man. That's
one of those
Go for it.
No, I was just gonna say it's like one of those situations where you can see both sides and you don't know who's in the right. You know, like you don't want to know that you're giving up people's rights and privileges and freedoms, but at the same time, giving certain people their rights, their freedoms, and their privileges is affecting the health and safety of others. So, like, where do you strike that balance of safety and freedom? You know, like you having your freedom shouldn't cost me my life. You know, so, but it's tough, and that's why, like I said, like this movie, like we're not done with this yet. Yeah. And you just put a vision in my head of how bad things could get. No, I don't think they're gonna get that bad.
No.
But my imagination sometimes can run.
I'm telling you, man. Like I said, I saw the trailer, and the first thing I texted you guys after I texted you the trailer was too soon, way too soon.
Oh yeah, okay. And I didn't know what you was talking about until I just caught the trailer. I was like,
yeah. So now I want to ask you, Al, what's your thoughts on this, man? Is this the outlier of COVID movies, or the first of many stories that deal with a COVID situation where we are locked down in our homes and can't leave and can't do anything? Is this something that's going to be the trend for the next couple of like maybe months or years, where we're going to start seeing movies about the situation that we're currently in, or no?
Yeah, unfortunately, I think it is going to be the beginning of a trend. I think there's going to be a lot of movies coming out tackling a lot of the different angles. Like, you know, there's going to be some movies dealing with the isolation aspect of it, like, you know, how people were feeling knowing that they couldn't see friends and family. Then there's going to be the health aspect. Yeah, I think this is just the start, you know.
The start of all this, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it might be a good start. So, you know, I won't knock it till I see it. There's a good cast. The acting seemed nice in the trailer. So
hey, listen, man. When Michael Bay does Transformers, it ends up being pretty good. So.
Yeah. We'll see. You know, we'll look at some spin shots around some of the characters, some explosions,
firework explosions.
But yeah, unfortunately, you know, I just hope it's not too many movies about it. You know what I'm saying? At some point, let us get past it. Let's truly get past it. Not only find some kind of a treatment, or I won't say cure, but like a vaccine and so forth to address it, and then let us emotionally move past it. Right. Then start with the rest of the movies, you know, so that we can appreciate the story as opposed to having it stir up all these emotions again.
Oh yeah, too close to home. No more of those, guys.
Yeah.
Oh man. And then listen, I mean the last thing we're going to talk about today is going to be our little review for the Mandalorian season 2 episode 1. Finally, something new and exciting to watch on television, and it just came back this week on Friday.
Yep.
So let's really quick just give like a quick spoiler-free review so anyone who hasn't seen the episode yet doesn't get spoiled by anything. But let's just keep it more or less. If you liked it, you recommend seeing it and your thoughts, and then we'll get into the real nitty-gritty on it there.
Okay.
So Al, what was your thoughts, man? Mandalorian season 2, man. Did it meet your expectations or a little letdown?
Yeah, man. Yeah, no, because I'm a big Star Wars fan. The lore, the story, the vision of what the future is like, and so forth. So I was really looking forward to this, and it didn't, in my opinion, didn't disappoint. You know, it's still telling a good story. It's not going too crazy into relying on like the original trilogy or that saga, but it still does draw on it. Obviously, the one of the characters hiding in the background of this story is from that time, but it just shows that what they could be doing with this whole franchise is, okay, let's expand on everything that's been there.
Right.
And they're doing a good job. Jon Favreau not only is running the helm on this show, but I think he even directed this episode.
He did this episode. Yeah, he definitely did.
Yeah. So, and I think that's why it had that feel for me. Like it really felt like, okay, this is what the show potential could be.
Right.
So yeah, I definitely was wait. It was one of the parts that makes me so frustrated that they're doing this episodic, because I was ready to press skip.
And go right into the next one.
Yeah, okay. When the credits came up, I was ready. Okay, how do I skip and go to the next episode? Yeah, man.
Yeah. Well, listen, for me, I'm going to say that I do love seeing The Mandalorian back on TV, but this episode for me was kind of like almost a rehash of some of the episodes we saw before, where it's a certain like they follow a guide of what they're supposed to do in each episode, and it happens all over again. So it was a little bit of a letdown, but it was still very cool to watch. Like Al was saying, a lot of the Star Wars stuff that you see here, the sound, the look of it, certain vehicles, weapons, and things in the background, it's just like, oh, But at the same time, the story itself, from where it left off, I kind of wanted it to touch on that before we got into these like almost like throwaway episodes. Like it really didn't have anything to do with the like where we thought this was headed to, with the ending of last season and also what we think could happen this season. So for me, it was okay. I was glad to see it back, but there was something missing as far as like the actual story of the Mandalorian, what's going on with it. So, I do recommend seeing it because it does look great. It also is just the continuation of this guy's story and Baby Yoda again, so yeah, definitely go ahead and give it a watch. And, you see how I'm struggling to talk about this thing. So, so let's get right into a spoiler version of the, for the people who did watch it on Friday or Saturday or today, to see what we say about this episode. So, Al, what I'll tell you about this episode is the thing that bothered me is it's one of these episodes again where he goes somewhere again, he meets someone he doesn't like, he earns their respect, they team up, they beat a bigger villain, and then they leave. And it's just like, come on again. It seems like he does this almost every episode where he's meeting someone that's supposed to be like a bad guy or a shady guy. And then it just turns out to work together. And then either he gets, turned on or they become friends. And that's the one aspect where you never know where it's going to go. Now, the cool thing about this episode was, like you mentioned, man, the ending. I mean, at first I didn't know who it was. And then I rewound it and I'm like, is that Django? From the original sequels, which of course it should be them because they're all clones. If you guys know Star Wars Lords from episode 1, 2, and 3, you know about the Clone Wars, and these are all clones. The guy who played the original clone well, this guy looked like him. So,
Mm-hmm.
so
But same actor. Yeah. No, and I agree with you with that. Like, because this whole episode did play out the same way as the episode from last season with the AT-AT.
yes.
Where he had to save the villagers from that the AT-AT that used to come and raid them and so forth. So
he met that UFC fighter over there.
So yeah, it was kind of like that. But like for me, I overcame it because I liked the story that they were telling. I kind of liked the fact that they didn't immediately have him challenging the character from the ending of the last episode.
Right.
Like I want to have them build into that. So I like that they didn't immediately touch on that. Okay, this is him moving on because he thought he survived and evaded the guy. So
right.
Yeah. But you know what I didn't realize so much until I saw this episode was how much of a Western vibe this has. And I don't know why.
Yeah, clearly.
I don't know why it took this episode for me to get that feeling of a Western kid.
The intro music to this show, that's all Western, man.
And even still, and then I think back, like, wasn't there an episode last season called Gunslinger? Like I still don't know why Western didn't kick into my head until this one. And I'm like, wait, the marshal, he's walking into a bar, they're doing a gun, like they even did the thing with the hands on the guns, like a gunfight. Yeah, I was expecting like a tumbleweed or whatever that thing is to fly, to go blow across the road.
Yeah,
like but they're handling this series well, and I like the Boba Fett tie-in.
Right.
And the fact that, it wasn't Boba Fett. Like I was like, all right, that better not be Boba Fett the way you had him walking.
That clearly does not look like Boba Fett, right?
And it just turned out to be that, somebody found the armor and so forth. And then I'm like, oh, cool. Okay, they're gonna have him that he's dead. And just somebody found the armor. That's the whole Boba Fett thing that everybody's hearing about. Right. And then when they show him at the end, I was like, oh shit. Like, how do they bring him in? How do they explain that? Because remember, Mandalorians don't take their armor off. So how do we now explain?
This guy's in hiding. Yeah.
Yeah. Has he given up on them? Like, does he no longer consider himself a Mandalorian? Right. What was it about dying in there that made him feel that way? Was this years after? And that whole scene with where the Mandalorian, the main character, goes into that dragon and then gets himself out.
Yeah.
I was like, all right. Like, it kind of made me feel like, all right, they're setting us up to explain that you can get out of one of these monsters once you've been.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, man. I liked the nostalgia of it. The speeder bike, even the from
pod
the
racer.
episode 1 pod racing thing that he looked like he was on. They were on Tatooine, the Tusken soldiers or the Tusken men from the desert. And I know he did it last season, but it was just also funny to see him talk like the Tuskens again. It's just very interesting, man. Yeah, and again, the team up of the Tuskens, the sheriff or the marshal, and also the Mandalorian to kind of beat this huge ass worm, and the visuals of it, dude. This is not your normal television show. This is movie quality, dude. And it just looks phenomenal. It looks insane, honestly. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to the second episode of this season for sure. Again, like I said, I was just a little let down by the way the story was played out, because it's like the thing that they keep doing, and I hope they don't just keep doing that, because towards the end of last season of season 1, they were changing up the stories a little bit. It was like leading up to something. It wasn't just like the villain of the week or who the new friend he makes that week. So it was pretty good, man. So I mean, I recommend people to watch this Mandalorian season 2. If you haven't seen season 1, you got to watch it. It's only 8 episodes, and they're all about maybe 45 minutes long. This one was a little longer though, right? It was like about almost an hour.
Well, one thing I like that they do with the Mandalorian is the episode is not 45 minutes and it has to be 45 minutes so that now you get all this filler and everything. If it needs to be 37 minutes, they've been 37 minutes, 38 minutes, 45. So it's whatever the story needs to be. Yeah. So but I think this was a little of the longer one. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So listen, guys, if you hear us out here talking about it, you know it's worth it. Give it a watch. It's The Mandalorian's on Disney Plus. Just go ahead and give it a look, man.
Yeah.
And now, listen, usually when it's more than me and Al, we talk a little bit longer because we have everyone's different opinions and takes and stuff like that. But this week, not much news. Not any movies. So we're doing our best, man. Yeah. So listen, before we just start just talking about nonsense, we're gonna end the podcast right there and get back to you guys next week with hopefully some more content or movies or reviews or something. So we'll work on something for you guys for next week, and we'll probably have more of the team back with us also. So coming in from Long Island, New York, you got my boy Al.
Have a good night, everybody.
You got myself, Hav, and we thank you as always for listening. And also remember, if you're on the YouTube, go ahead and subscribe or click that bell for notifications so you know when we put up new podcasts. You can reach us at therealfanreview@gmail.com. You can reach us at therealfanreview.com as well. Send us any kind of questions or thoughts or anything you would want us to talk about on the podcast, and we'll make sure we get to it for you guys. All right. So again, we thank you for everything. And signing off from New York, we'll catch you on the next one. Till next time.